Hello, everyone. I hope you all are safe, healthy, and in your happy spirits. Welcome back to the OBF podcast. For the fourth episode of the series, One Last Time, we have with us another gifted personality from the recently graduated batch at IIT Patna. A determined individual who did not let the setbacks define him. He co founded two startups during his days at IIT Patna. He was also the anchor of TEDx IIT Patna, a hidden gem of Yavanika, a senior file, bibliophile, and alleged transponder, alongside making the entire IIT Patna fraternity proud by getting admitted into Stanford University. Hello, Bhaiya. Thank you so much for taking time out and being here today. Hope you're doing well.
Hello, Vijaya. Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I mean, most of the time I was not part of that team, like that included Rahul or Vivek and these guys who get to talk to juniors. But at the same time, I always wanted to talk to them. So now seems like a great opportunity that I can share my experiences and share my mistakes and whatever I did right with all the community. Yeah.
So here we have the OBF podcast as a platform for you, Bhaiya. So to start off, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners and please let the suspense unfold today?
Okay, hello guys, this is Atharva. I'm from Pune, and like I said, like I just graduated from IIT Patna. Like it doesn't feel like I've graduated because the exam or everything was online, and even we received our transcripts and degrees online. So it's really sad, but at the same time, it feels that all this journey has been really, really amazing. Anyway, so thank you, Vijay, for this kind introduction, like you did. So basically, yeah, I did my BTech in chemical engineering, and recently I got admitted to Stanford University among some other universities. I'm blessed to be part of that university or getting admitted to this university. And obviously, I owe a lot to IIT Patna and the teachings there. So basically, I think I should start with how I got into it and my sort of journey, right, Vijay?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Okay, so basically, like all of you, like I was very confused in my first year about what I wanted to do. I was not like somebody who knew what I wanted to do or wanted to get into an MS degree by from my birth. I was very, very confused. At least I think it was during my third year that I got to know that I wanted to do MS. So I'll start off by sharing some of my journey. So in first year, when I came to college, it's a huge amount of freedom. All of you know that we do JE, we study a lot, and suddenly we come to college and we enjoy a lot. Unfortunately, most of you haven't come to the campus. It's great, but like I came and there were lots and lots of clubs. There was debate clubs, there was Anvesha, Celesta, so many opportunities, and I decided that I wanted to be part of these opportunities. I always had an interest in anchoring, in debating, in public speaking. So I got into these clubs and I spent a lot of time, especially in Anvesha. I was part of the marketing and sponsorship committee, and those were some of the best times I had with my friends. Especially, I remember that Anvesha was just a week away in February, and we had to go to Patna and talk to a lot of companies and get sponsorship from them. Right. So basically, in the last week, in the 7 days, of the 7 days, 5 of the days we were in Patna. We missed labs, we missed classes, and everything and all that. So we enjoyed a lot, but at the same time this came with a sort of a big expense, I might say, because at the end of my first year my CJPA was very bad. It was around 7.4 or something like that. So people out there, some of the people have been messaging me that maybe you got into Stanford or you're going for MS, or have you done research, so that might mean that you might be the topper or you might have very good grades. But I was not even the topper of my branch, let alone my batch. So yeah, so anyway, my first year CGPA was very bad, and I remember that at the same time I was coming. I was going to come from a flight, so it was Patna Pune flight. I had booked at 2:30, and I went with my friends at 2:30. They were going to Mumbai. I was going to Pune, and then I went in the airport and. Patna's airport is shitty. It's very bad. It's small. I went there and the security guard let me in at 2:30. I mean at like at 12 o'clock, and then I went in there and suddenly I saw that my flight was not there. And I was wondering what the heck is happening. My flight should be there at 2:30. I need to go to my home, and there was no flight. So basically, I asked around, and then I got to know, and I saw my ticket. The flight was at 2:30 in the morning. It was, and you know that the airport timing works on military time. So it was 2:30, so it means 2:30 in the morning. And I realized, oh my god, so that means I have to wait another 12 hours. And then I realized, no, 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 my flight was at 2:30, so it has already gone at 2:30. And I'd come to Patna the previous day to see Avengers Infinity War. And I just remembered that when I was watching that movie at 12 o'clock in the night in Patna, my flight was going away. So it came to this dawn realization, and then I had to book the flight, and it cost me like 13, 14,000 rupees. And then I came to Pune, fortunately, and then I had to stay at the airport for 12 hours. And then I came to my home, and we had 2 months of summer holidays. And then I started reflecting, and I had a great time in my first year. I got to be part of lots and lots of communities. I got to go to Inter IT Cult Meet that was taken at IIT Kanpur, and I spent a lot of time. But at the same time, I also realized that I had done nothing as part of my degree. After all, I was doing engineering. I was getting the degree of BTech, and I had explored nothing in that sort of sector. So being part of all these clubs is great, but anything you do excess is always bad. So at the same time, so I started reflecting, I started reading, I started talking to people. LinkedIn is the way I started talking to chemical engineers, what they are doing, what are fields they are exploring. And then I got to know that the best way to get to know about these things is to talk to your professors and start getting projects from these, especially the professors at IIT Patna, because those people are there to help you. Those people will be very eligible to give you projects and make you part of their team. So when I came back after my 2 months holidays, I came back to IIT Patna, and then I talked to some of the professors, and I talked with one of the professors. He gave me an opportunity. I went there, I worked in his lab in the weekend. I just didn't like it. So there it is. Like most of the people, you should just experiment. You might not like a lot of things, but it's all right. And then I experimented, and I did not like. I worked with another professor, I and Vivek, and Vivek liked that thing, but I did not like. Vivek is another senior who just part out from chemical engineering. He's doing a great job at LTI. And anyway, like I was saying, so I was exploring, and I was not getting anything out of it. I worked with two professors. I did not like the work at all. And so I was wondering, what do I want to do? Because it was already second year, and I needed to know what I wanted to do so that I can process in that particular field and work towards it. So suddenly I came across a profile from LinkedIn, and this was a chemical engineer from IIT Roorkee. And this guy, he was the gold medalist in IIT Roorkee, sorry, silver medalist for chemical engineering. And I saw that in his second year winter, he had done an internship at a company. In his second year summer, he had done an internship at IISc Bangalore. In the third year summer, he did an internship at EPFL in Switzerland. In third year winter, he did an internship at Taiwan. And in fourth year winter, he did an internship at Hong Kong. So I just got this realization that this particular guy was working his ass off. He was doing these sort of internship, and he was also the topper. So I sort of admired him, and I got to know that internships are a very important part of your process building, that you can work at different institutes, gain a lot of experience. So I started applying in my second year winter to a lot of institutes, and luckily I got an opportunity to work at Vishwakarma University in Pune for 1 month. And the topic of that internship was drinking water quality. It was in environmental. And when I started reading about environmental engineering, and that you get to work on these fields, and that you also get to work so that your environment, so that the nature can be better. For example, treating water quality so that many people can get access to more clean water. I just really liked the subject. It had a beautiful meaning attached to it. And then I really liked the 1 month internship. From that, I started applying. I knew that I wanted to explore this field more, so I started applying more and more. And I applied to like 50, 60 professors from various IITs, NITs. And luckily I got a call back from a professor from IISc Bangalore, and he was a great professor. I got to go to him during my summer holiday, and got to work with him for 2 months. And the best part of this internship was I had an excellent PhD guide. Her name was Seema ma'am, and she was like, the internship was unpaid, by the way. So she was like, you guys are coming here, you're working for no money, you should get the most out of it. So she was very adamant that we should work hard, that we should get the most of the 2 month internship. The internship was in wastewater treatment. And I remember that I was working in on algae, and algae are just like plants; they require sunlight. And so I had to come at 6 o'clock before sunrise to take the sample of algae, and then I used to go back after all my sampling at around 11, 12 o'clock in the night. So I was working 18-hour shifts for almost 2 weeks on that one particular project. But that had a very beautiful outcome that I got to publish a paper. So I got to publish paper in two particular fields, in two particular two particular conferences and two particular journals. So that was a wonderful thing. After ISC Bangalore, I started applying to for an internship. So I talked with one of the postdocs, and he was saying, "Do you like environmental engineering, man? Do you want to work in this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really like the concept. I really like that I'm working towards a particular goal." And so he was like, "You should not work in India. Then you should try to gain a master's in a foreign institute because the professors are better, the opportunities are better. It's much advanced, and environmental engineering. The timing of environmental engineers is not right at this particular time in India." So I talked to him, and he said that you either have Europe, Canada, or US where you can apply. In Europe, there's a language barrier. If you work at German institutes, most of the professors themselves speak German, and you can't attend a lot of their classes, or you'll have to attend under one of his assistant who speaks in English. And also, if I get a job there, I'll have to learn to speak German, and I know that I didn't want to indulge in that. So at that time, I started looking for US institutes, and that I found that they were great. There was no language barrier. The work was good. The pay was good. The exploration and every part was really good. So I started thinking about foreign research internships, and there are lots and lots of opportunities. Like there are various portals, there are various applications. So I applied through MyTax, and MyTax connects you with Canadian professors, and then you can do an internship under them. And at the same time, you also get paid. So you get paid around 5 lakh rupees for 2 months. You get to go to Canada, work under them. So that was a great. I applied. My CGPA at that time also was very bad. It had improved from 7.4 to 8.3, but at the same time, it was not exceptional. All I had was my internship experience, and all I had was my one paper. And through that, I applied, and I was very honest. I knew why I wanted to work in environmental, and honesty always helps. Most of the time, people don't know what they want to do. So just ask yourself the question, why are you working in this field? Why do you like? Most of the time, people get the gut feeling, and that is right. But just ask the reason why you're getting this gut feeling. So I applied to MyTax. I got to interview with one of the professors there, and he immediately accepted. So I applied to MyTax in September, and I got selected in October. So I was free for the next 4 to 5 months. So my internship started in next year May, and I had nothing to do for 4 to 5 months. So I decided to give GRE and TOEFL at that time. I got to prepare GRE and TOEFL with one of my friends, Rucha, in Pune, and we got to work like 1 2 months. We worked on GRE and TOEFL, and I got to give GRE and TOEFL. I had a not a great score, but not a very bad score too, an average score in GRE and TOEFL, 324 and 115. So you can search more about GRE. You can even contact me. I'll be happy to help you regarding GRE and TOEFL. Anyway, I, Abhipray, and Azam, three of us had got selected for the MyTax internship, where we were supposed to go to Canada. But as you know, pandemic hit and our internships were cancelled. My internship was very lab intensive, so I could not go there, and therefore there was no point in doing that internship. It was not software based. So anyway, I was stuck. I got really sad that my internship was cancelled, but at the same time there were three of us, so that made things much more better. That there are two more people and that we can talk to each other. So that was really great. And then like what happened was that there was no structure there. We didn't know how long the pandemic was going to last. Nothing was going, no classes were going on. And I was sitting at home, I was enjoying, I was sleeping a lot because in hostel you don't get to sleep. I was sleeping like 4 to 5 to 6 hours every day on an average. And then I suddenly came to home and I got to sleep like 9 to 10 hours. So that was a great thing. And after that, I started exploring what all should do and what I can do. And then Piyush and Vatsal, those were two guys who were working on a queue management startup, and they had posted on LinkedIn that we need some guys to work with us. Piyush, I think, has come on the third episode, so he's also a great guy. And then we talked about entrepreneurship, and I was at that time I didn't know a lot about entrepreneurship, but anyway, I got to work with those people on the QMe app, and then later on that failed, and then we worked on another app, another web-based portal called Decusto, and even that failed. And later on I started if I want to go more into entrepreneurship, why don't I apply to these institutes such as Stanford, which is right next to Silicon Valley and has a great entrepreneurship culture. So I started applying there, and luckily there's a big portal where you can apply, and you get to submit all letter of recommendation, your GRE scores, most importantly your statement of purpose about why do you want to pursue environmental engineering, why do you particularly want to pursue it in Stanford. I got to apply to 7 institutes, and I got into Stanford, I got into Georgia Tech, I got into UCLA, I got into University of Texas Austin, University of Colorado Boulder, and I think I also got into I got rejected by Purdue, and I got into another institute. Why am I not remembering the name? Anyway, I got into UIUC as well. So yeah, that's been my journey. I think that should be suffice. I think I'm boring you guys.
That wasn't at all boring, भैया. मतलब आपने सब कुछ बता दिया, and I am literally feeling awe. I mean, so much in 4 years, and मतलब since you told कि first year से कैसे आपकी journey हुई, so you mostly focused on like how you applied and कैसे आपने actually explore किया. जैसे पहले आपको भी नहीं पता था कि क्या करना है, and most of us listening to this podcast, recording this podcast, we are clueless about our futures right now. But what you did different was you sat with that question in your head. Most of us run away from that question. कि नहीं समझ में आ रहा है तो छोड़ देते हैं, बाद में सोचेंगे. But you sat with that question. You searched for the answer.
Yeah, like, can I interrupt just so
Yeah, but yeah, it is all yours.
yeah, so I got, like, I want to tell how I got into entrepreneurship, because that actually deals with this question a lot about how you like to find out what you want to do. There's a philosopher named Albert Camus. He was a French philosopher, one of the greatest philosophers of our last century, and he found out that life is actually meaningless. So basically, most of the people, they want to work for money, but when the first human came into being, there was no money at all. Like, money is a social construct. Money doesn't exist. Like, it's not, you can't touch money. Like, it's a social construct that we have made, that there is a piece of paper and that has some value. But money is something that is imaginary, that we have constructed. Most of the people work their life for a particular company or for a particular job, but jobs, companies, business, all these are also imaginary. Google is not a particular person. We have made Google that it's a company and that people will be working towards a goal. And most of the people work towards their families, but families are also a social construction. There's no such thing that we need to have a wife or we need to have a family. Like, we all have just mother and father. That's the only natural thing. Other than that, all is a social construct. So all of us are living on Earth, which is a very small planet in a very medium-sized solar system, in a very medium-sized galaxy, in a universe that doesn't care about us. The universe is very large, and so we are living in a very meaningless way. This is called as existentialism. That no, none of us know what our purpose is. We just come, and if you're a beggar or if you're Steve Jobs, even when you die, nothing matters at all. And I was dealing with this sort of question. I was very worried about this sort of thing, that what exactly is life? Even if I'm working towards a thing, does it really matter? I mean, whatever I do is not going to matter, and there's no set criteria of what I should do. This is called as existentialism, and many philosophers have actually died or did suicide because of this question. It's a very harrowing question. The more you think about it, the more it's wrong. But then comes this guy called Albert Camus, and he starts thinking about it, and he says one thing that has struck with me, and that is actually defined my life, and that is that, yeah, everything is meaningless, but just living, that means that you can die tomorrow and it won't matter actually. But that itself gives a lot of freedom, that whatever bad things you do, maybe you won't be a great person, maybe you won't earn a lot of money, maybe you will have a very small house, maybe you will have no family, but does it really matter? It's not going to matter. In the end, no human is going to be alive. All of thing is going to be die. Even if you don't do great work, it's not going to matter. But so life itself has no meaning, but living every day has meaning. Like, anyway, anything doesn't matter, so try to live as if tomorrow is not going to happen. So every day I try to do things which I like, and like, entrepreneurship was something which I was very curious about and which I like doing. And maybe that won't work out, and maybe that will amount to nothing, and I'll be a failed person having nothing in life. But at least I did what I like. Anyway, it doesn't have meaning. Even if I change thousands of people life, it's not gonna have meaning. If I did nothing, it's not gonna have meaning. So at least I'm doing that I like. that is sort of my philosophy of why I got into entrepreneurship. I know it sounds a lot of confusing, but if you think about it, if you just go in a corner, think about it, I think you'll find answers. And it's very liberating that everything is meaningless and that you can do whatever you like, and it will not amount to anything, and it will amount to everything as well. Does that make sense?
It surely makes sense. It's just that you said you have to sit in a corner and think about this meaningless life and how you want to add meaning to it and add meaning to every single day. And that's what matters. Oh my god, this has been put really well by you भैया मतलब तो अब हम लोग जानते हैं कि स्टैनफोर्ड वाले भैया फिलोसफी में भी है. So anyone who is interested in philosophy, please contact Athar भैया.
Like philosophy, just like you need to understand why you're here and you need to think about it. And the more you think, the more it's sad, but at the same time, the more liberating it is. It's better than living a lie than just seeking out the wrong truth. I think so. Yeah.
राइट राइट. तो भैया जैसे जो सेकेंड ईयर के स्टूडेंट्स है, थर्ड ईयर के स्टूडेंट्स है, इवन माय बैच स्टूडेंट्स, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स वी आर वेरी क्लूलेस
Yeah.
कि क्या करना है लाइफ में.
Hmm.
एंड इवन आफ्टर एक्सप्लोरिंग मेनी थिंग्स
Yeah.
वी डोंट कम विद अ सोल्यूशन टू दिस. सो एंड मतलब ऐसा होता है कि हमें इंस्टेंटली चीजें चाहिए होती है
Yeah.
कि ओ मैंने एक इंटर्नशिप ट्राई करी तो इट हैज टू क्लिक, बट वो नहीं होता है.
Huh.
As you said, you tried with Vivek Bhaiya, you went to the lab, you tried things,
Yeah.
but आपको वो नहीं पसंद आया. Then you tried something else. So should I say that patience also plays a lot of role in this?
It does. I think it plays a lot of role because I think everyone has to like agree with themselves. They have to just be true to themselves. That yeah, most of the things won't work out. There's another philosophy called Stoicism, and that deals with that. You have to be truthful to yourself. Yeah, most of the things won't work out, and most of the things will not have a plan, and all you do will not just like you said will click, and you will get to know the direction and you will work in that field, and that will all be right. And you'll become the richest person and you'll have a great family and all that. Most of the things won't happen, and it's all right. I mean, everybody's exploring, everybody's afraid, everybody has a lot of bad feelings about themselves. Like some of you might think that I have a very good life, that I am getting into Stanford and everything, but I also deal with a lot of insecurities all my day, and that's just being part of life. It's what everyone deals with, from everyone from Jeff Bezos to Elon Musk. So it's all right. And like you said about people not getting what they want or not understanding what they like, the only way to do that is just be exploring. Like that's the only truth. Just be explore. Like even though I know that I today I want to work into entrepreneurship, maybe five years down the lane I might not feel that way. I like environmental engineering at this point, I might not like the way. And who is gonna tell you that you can only do one thing in your life? Who is going to say that chalo yaar engineering kar raha hai, and I started with computer science engineering and life mein udhar utna hi karna hai? Why? Like why can't you do like 30, after 30 you don't like computer science engineering, you want to get into medical, or you might want to do YouTube, or you might want to do anything. Like it's your life, you're going to die alone. Why are you living in the terms of others? Like take example of Elon Musk, right? He's doing something in Tesla, which is a electric car company. He's also doing something in SpaceX, which is a rocket propulsion company. He's also doing something in Neuralink, which is, all these three things are very, very, very different. And for somebody to be doing that is just amazing. And nobody should tell you. Like there's another guy called Nawal Ravikant. He's the co-founder of AngelList, and he's like, people think this thing that they should only pursue one thing in their life, and we're not born to do that. Everybody should have the freedom to do different things in life. You can be a singer, you can be an academician, you can be a dancer, you can be anything you want to life, and it's all right if nothing clicks for you. But just that you have explored so much and that you are exploring all these things, that itself can add meaning to you. Just be an explorer. It's all right if you don't find a meaning. It's all right.
भैया तो जैसे आपने कहा लाइक यू सेड दैट यू हैव टू डू डिफरेंट थिंग्स एंड एवरीवन's path is going to be different. You have actually set a completely different path for all the juniors who are seeing you, and people are going to give it a thought now. They are going to give research a thought, even if they have not yet. So the what I wanted to ask is, you being from chemical engineering, how did you land into environmental engineering? Because उसका कोई भी स्कोप जो बोलते हैं, जो मैक्सिमम आईटी को दिया जाता है हमारे कॉलेज में, या फिर मान लीजिए कि कैट की प्रिपरेशन को दिया जाता है, गोइंग इनटू मैनेजमेंट एंड ऑल। तो ये बहुत ही कम ऑप्शंस दिखते हैं हमें, स्पेशली एट आईआईटी पटना। So how did you go into environmental engineering? And even after you saw so many of your friends getting into Microsoft and Google and getting lakhs की jobs मिल रही हैं उनको, तो how did you choose environmental engineering and how did you stay intact on that? मतलब आपको ऐसा कभी नहीं लगा कि ओ मुझे भी ज्यादा पैसों वाला जॉब कर लेना चाहिए या फिर ऐसा कुछ to have a secure career?
That's a very good point, actually. So, first of all, I've read this book called The Psychology of Money. So, most of the people that are going for computer science or most of the people that are going for management, they're going for the money. It's the truth. I mean, packages hai, and that's great for people who like money and people who want to go. They should be honest with themselves. Some people like money, and it's all right if you have that sort of thing, go for it. And most of the people go into these field because they like money, but many of the people don't know what they want to do with that sort of money. There's a, like I said, there's a book called Psychology of Money, and it states that after a particular yearly salary, you don't get happiness from money. So for example, say you're earning say 15 lakh, okay, or 12 lakh, and after you say you're happy with this, you got the job for 12 lakh and you're earning. After, if you start earning after that point, say you're earning 20 lakh, you won't get much satisfaction out of the extra 8 lakh that you're getting, or you won't get much satisfaction. So money is a hindrance, I'm sure, but only for the first 12, 13 lakhs. After that, it doesn't make that sense. And it won't, in my opinion, at least it will provide you initial happiness, and it is obviously must. But at least in my opinion, all the fields that are there, all the engineering will get you that minimum 12 lakh package. Maybe initially utna nahi milega, but maybe after 5 to 6 years of experience हो जाएगा, उतना मिल जाएगा तुम लोग को, 12-13 लाख आराम से मिल जाएगा. And after that you're dedicating one third of your life, okay, one third of your life to your work. Like 8 घंटे हम रोज काम करते हैं, हम हर रोज 24 आवर्स है, उसमें से 8 घंटे अगर तुम रोज काम कर रहे हो, you should like to work in something that gives you meaning or that you really like. It's not, मतलब तुम लोग one third of life you're working in something just for money and it's not giving you happiness, then I don't think मतलब कुछ value है उसमें. And for example tomorrow, for example तुम्हारा accident हो गया, तुम मर गए, then would you like to know that कि you were the last day you were working 8 hours on something which you never wanted to do? I mean that will be just so sad. उससे अच्छा मैं कुछ काम ही नहीं करता and I will just roam around there. At least I was happy at that particular time. So that's the thing. And so that's my philosophy, and that's how uh, I never ventured into that sort of thinking. I obviously, like, I think that technology is really good, and people who are working in software, I'm also trying to learn machine learning, and I'm also trying to learn, not because there's a lot of money and everything is involved, but because it is very interesting yaar. मतलब if you can make a car autonomously कि like खुद से ही चल रही है गाड़ी because of machine learning and neural networking, that is so interesting. I mean, who does not want to do that? That piques my engineering mindset. So I like to do, but I'm not doing that because of money. So for the people who are in core branches and who think about this, don't worry. वैसे भी तुम, you are now in 20s, so till 21 to 31 nobody is gonna ask you about money यार. कोई नहीं पूछेगा कितना कमा रहे हो और तुम्हें कमाना ही क्यों है. लाइक वैसे भी कोई बड़ी फैमिली की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं होती, कोई नहीं बोलता कि बहुत बड़ा घर ले लो या बहुत बड़ी गाड़ी चाहिए. 21 to 31 इज जस्ट फॉर योर इंजॉयमेंट एंड जस्ट टू लिव इन अ स्मॉल अपार्टमेंट. ज़्यादा कुछ हमारा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं होना, जस्ट टू एक्सप्लोर. एक बार 31 के बाद तुम लोग का एक्सपीरियंस आ जाएगा ना, आराम से अच्छा अच्छा कमा लोगे. एंड दैट शुड बी इनफ. एटलीस्ट यू आर डेडिकेटिंग वन थर्ड ऑफ योर लाइफ टू समथिंग दैट यू लाइक एटलीस्ट.
That's a great point भैया. जैसे थ्री इडियट्स में बोला था कि चेज एक्सीलेंस, वैसे टुडे वी गेट टू हियर फ्रॉम भैया कि चेज हैप्पीनेस,
हाँ,
कि
और
जहाँ जहाँ खुशी मिल रही है.
एग्जैक्टली, और इवन दैट कम्स टू दैट सॉर्ट, मतलब वो कोट भी सही है कि चेज एक्सीलेंस. बिकॉज लाइक एक स्टीव जॉब्स का एक काफ़ी अच्छा स्पीच था, ही डिड इट एट स्टैनफोर्ड कमेंसमेंट एड्रेस था. एंड ही वाज लाइक कि स्टीव जॉब्स एज यू नो इज अ ग्रेट पर्सन, बट ही वाज लाइक उसको एप्पल से निकाल दिया गया. ही वाज किक्ड आउट ऑफ एप्पल एंड suddenly he was like, what should I do? He has all the money, he doesn't need to work one day for his life, but he's like, he's sitting at his home, he's kicked out of Apple and he's wondering what should I do. And you know what he did? He formed another company. You know why? Because he liked what he did. He realized that even though I have money, I don't need to work, but I really like creating companies, and he started working on it. So that's what I think. And because he liked creating companies, he was so good at it. So in his address, in his speech, I think every I recommend it to everyone. He says that I'm good at what I do because I like what I do, and that's the only way in which you can get good at something, is because you like something. So all the great successful people, they really like what they do. All the great tennis players like playing tennis. All the great cricket players like cricket. All the great astronauts like studying about space and like studying about physics, and that's why they're so good at what they do.
Yes, भैया तो मतलब from your talking I can understand that you have been following a lot of people and you have been learning the best out of them. मतलब आप philosophers, those who have been successful in their lives, you read about them, you learn about them, and whatever you find best out of it, you inculcate in yourself.
Yeah, I believe in the quote that you're the average of five people you're around with. So, for example, if two of them should be who are better than you, and two of them should be lesser, like not better than, I mean, whatever. But most of the time, you won't find people that are extremely, extremely good at you. So, maybe you have a friend circle and they are also like you only, right? They also don't have experience. They are not like masters at something. So instead of being in that group, you can like read about these people like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, and those people are much, 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 much better than you. So you can admire these people. Don't compare. Comparison will only lead to disappointment. Like I said, so if you are going to die tomorrow, and today if you compare yourself with somebody and feel disappointed, then you're not gonna like that your last day was dealt in disappointment. Admire these people, but don't compare, because comparison will only lead to disappointment, and you don't want disappointment. You never want to be disappointed. You always want to be happy. Happiness is a choice.
Yes, happiness is a choice. And coming to choices, Bhaiya, like you said that you also want to learn about machine learning and all. So this is kind of a personal question related, of course, to your career. Is as you said, you want to learn machine learning, you want to get into entrepreneurship, and also you're working in environmental engineering. So as we can see that all these technologies that we are seeing is becoming very harmful for the nature. So, as an environmental engineer, how did you start with it? Like, आपका पहला thought क्या था? And while learning environmental engineering, did you connect with nature? Did you feel the need to actually do something for the environment as an engineer, as a normal human being living on Earth?
Okay, that's a great question. Again, like, see, the reason I think I got into Stanford was through my statement of purpose. So, statement of purpose is a two-page writing or essay that you submitted to Stanford, and in that you have to write why do you like environmental engineering and why Stanford. So, the first paragraph that I wrote in my statement of purpose was that during my internship at IISc Bangalore, we were collecting samples from lake water. So there was a beautiful lake called Jakur Lake in Bangalore, and we were collecting samples from there, and then we were testing it in our labs. And obviously, as you know, a lot of people depend on the lake's water, and there were lots of people, mostly people, very poor people, who were relying in it for bathing, for drinking, for everything. And what happened was that most of the people don't know how to use that water. They don't know how to use lake water neatly, cleanly, and what they should do. So we used to have these one monthly seminars at IISc Bangalore, where we got to meet with these people, especially young kids, and we got to educate them about these things. That yeah, aisa lake water hota hai, you should treat it well. You should not throw dirt in it and do these things. And that was so impactful for me that I'm actually like ऐसा कभी मुझे लगा नहीं कि that I'm helping people and that I'm impacting people lives. But as a part of this group at IIC Bangalore, I genuinely saw that I could impact people. So that's what I started with in my statement of purpose, that I got to meet with these people, these Jakur Lake people, and then I got to help them. And as for your question about how technologies are affecting, but at the same time, that's why lot of people are investing in clean technologies. That's why Tesla is becoming so popular, because it's relying on electric vehicles and not using fuels. So at the same time, necessity has come that we should be investing, or we should be working towards technology that like solar energy, nuclear energy, or electrical energy, like these sort of energies which don't harm the environment. And I think that people will come up, very, very smart people are working on these things, so that the energies are very good, we can treat all our environment in a very well way. I don't think that we are going to ruin earth. I mean, people are realizing it, people are working on it. So I think in 100, 200 years we are nearing a very big energy and climate revolution. Right now we are in the midst of it, and we are heading towards it, very we are very close to it.
So, I would like to say this to everyone listening to our podcast that we, being engineers, we also have to look into what Bhaiya has experienced. Like, उन्होंने कहा कि saw those algae and he saw those people suffering because of it, and he had a human connection with them. कि इनको अगर problem हो रहा है तो we have to solve that. So, as engineers, it's not only about technology; it's also about environment. It's also about the fellow human beings that we are living with, and it's a combined effort to make life better for everyone here. So that's what message I take from Athar Bhaiya's answer to this question. So this is where we take a short break. I'm sure everyone is overwhelmed by Bhaiya's awesomeness. So tune into part 2, which is releasing soon, to listen more about Athar Vaikatpure's fascinating campus life and chilling experiences at IIT Patna, along with some special advice that all of us should definitely hear out. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and take care. Bye bye.